Hello again. One of the things which I fancy we must all have noticed over the last few years is that what is laughingly called diversity really means more and more black people to the exclusion of all other ethnicities. It does not mean more Chinese people or Sikhs, or an increased number of Hindus and Jews or Arabs. Diversity is, in reality, code for more and more people of African heritage. I suspect that most of us know this. In the same way, of course, slavery is code for enslaved black people. No other form of slavery matters, or is indeed even to be considered. I was thinking about this the other day in relation to the American 1619 project. The idea of this is that American history should be dated not from 1776, when the Declaration of Independence was formulated, but rather from 1619, when the first black slaves arrived on the North American continent. This will enable American history to be centred around black people rather than white. Let me quote from a popular website on history where many people go when they want to find out about historical events. It's called history.com, and in the description to this video I give a link to the article there about slavery in America. It begins in this way. When did slavery start? Hundreds of thousands of Africans, both free and enslaved, aided the establishment and survival of colonies in the Americas and the New World. However, many consider a significant starting point to slavery in America to be 1619, when the privateer the White Lion brought 20 enslaved Africans ashore in the British colony of Jamestown, Virginia. The crew had seized the Africans from the Portuguese slave ship São João Batista. This then is the essence of the 1619 project, and it is a brilliant example of the way that black people are being pushed to the forefront of history in every part of the world. Of course, there was no such country as America in 1619, and so when the author of this piece refers to 1619 as a significant starting point to slavery in America, he or she must be referring in a broader sense to the North American continent, rather than just to the nation of America. Did slavery really begin in 1619 on the North American continent? Well, the civilization of Maya, which flourished 1,000 years before Columbus sailed across the Atlantic, they were very keen on slavery, as were the Aztecs. In what is now the United States, it is estimated that a quarter of the population of the northwest Pacific coast were slaves, due largely to the activities of the Haida and Tlingit tribes. Slavery was common among other tribes as well, and slaves were being bought and sold across the whole of the continent long before white people or black slaves arrived. By seizing upon 1619 as the starting point for slavery in North America, black people are brought to the forefront, and the dreadful sufferings of, to give one example, the Aztec slaves, who were slaughtered by the thousand in religious rituals, is erased from history. I give references in the description to this video for those who wish to check up on slavery in North America before the coming of Europeans, but I can assure viewers that it was big business. Britain is really only copying America in current efforts to place black people in the centre stage in the country's history and pretend that only black people were slaves. This line is very popular, of course, with African Americans, and also Caribbeans in Britain have seized upon it eagerly. Those who wonder why it is that almost every advertisement on the television in this country now features black people, but hardly ever Pakistanis or Chinese, need look no further for the explanation.